Jim, this was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Michael. I've always wondered, how dirty, disgusting does the ring get towards the end of the night? Do they wash it thoroughly each night?
Yep.
Or before each match? Has Jim had any memorable, gross experiences with this?
Oh.
I noticed at the Royal Rumble, Alexa Bliss was laying right where Otis had rolled all sweaty earlier in the night, and Rhea Ripley put the ring rope in her mouth. Is this all as gross as it all sounds, or does the ring naturally soak up goo and they quickly wash it thoroughly throughout the night? How do they clean up lots of blood? The ring always looks clean on TV.
Oh boy, where do we start? Well, first of all, this is something that Vince was doing back to the Attitude Era when they started making some money and TV became more important. Vince, and I'd never seen any promoter ever, and even WCW under Turner Broadcasting, etc. I'd never seen any promoter do this. Vince McMahon would crack out a brand new canvas for every episode of Monday Night Raw.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And so they ended up, as a matter of fact, when I came down here to OVW, I brought 3 or 4 canvases with me because they had so fucking many, and he wouldn't use on television a used canvas. So
how much do those cost?
Back there 20-something years ago, a good one, $1,000, $1,200. It's, 25 square feet of high-grade canvas with grommets and everything put in, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that's what he got mad when they had a stained mat one time and there was a piece of duct tape covering up a small rip in the corner. He said, new canvas for Raw every night now. But if you're talking about now, I would eat dinner off of the WWF canvases, whether they'd had a match go on in them or not. Those are the cleanest fucking rings because they've got a budget. It's high-def TV now. Everything's lit up. They want it all to look nice. If you talk about the old days in the wrestling business, did they wash the canvas every night? Did they ever wash the canvas? I'm serious. Except if they did an angle where somebody got tarred and feathered and they got molasses on the canvas, or a paint angle, or the thing just got so many holes in it the duct tape wouldn't fucking solve it anymore and they'd get rid of it entirely. They would never clean it at all. Because you have to get a carpet steamer or something like that and take it outside where it can dry, or in a big warehouse. And you got to and most promoters didn't take the time or the trouble. I guarantee you, I saw the same canvas in the matches in Louisville sometimes for a year, 2 years in a row. And I don't know that it was ever cleaned. Spot show rings with the canvas that they had that would be rolled up and put on the back of an open trailer and carried down the fucking interstate to the next time after time after time. The canvas on the ring in the Dallas Sportatorium had been on there so long that it smelled like mildew from 10 feet away. And every time, I've told this story, every time you'd slap on the mat, if you had hay fever, Jesus Christ, you'd start coughing and sneezing.
How were there not more staph infections? Or is it just that we didn't hear all about them?
You didn't hear about them. Guys, I got a zit. I take some antibiotics or fucking heat up a fucking piece of that white wrist tape and fucking stick it on there. It'll bring it up to a head, stick it with a pin, whatever the fuck, going about your way. Yeah, no, I mean, we took care of our canvas as much as we could in Smoky Mountain, and I changed them every so often. And in OVW, we did the same thing because we got a few free canvases from the WWF, and we had room where we could put it out in the building in the Davis Arena and run the fucking steamer over it every so often. But no, in the territory days, especially spot show rings or a town, but even Memphis. I remember seeing the same goddamn. Finally, I think they changed it one time after one of those Lawler Funk bloodbaths when it was a white canvas and you couldn't hardly see it white anymore. But no, it was months and months before those things were ever touched And then if somebody did have a staph infection outbreak or something, and somebody would say something, they'd, just throw it away. We got another one somewhere in the trailer. And it would be a dirty one too, but it wouldn't be with the guy that just had staph, wouldn't have been on it recently. No, they stunk. You had every kind of goddamn, shit. And especially then outdoor shows in the summertime, spot show ring with the guys bumping in and out of the ring in a fucking fairgrounds field, mud, dirt, dog shit, blood, sweat, whatever the case.
I can't get past the fact that Vince McMahon, if you're counting TV and pay-per-view, not knowing how many there were that year, you're looking at least 60, 65 canvases, brand new every year. Who manufactures them? Where do you get them?
There you go, Omar the tent maker. No, honestly, that's what a lot of time you'd go to a tent and awning place or anybody that deals with canvas, banners, things like that. Whoever, people just, that's who makes canvases. They don't care what you're going to use it for. But no, there was not a lot of cleanliness, was not next to godliness on the rings in the wrestling business. And I mean, that always bugged me too. I hate it when the ring post looked like shit and hadn't been painted in 5 years, or there was no apron skirt you could see under the ring and it looked like shit.
That was the first thing I saw with Memphis stuff that kind of took me a little bit out of it when I was a kid, before I had really experienced it, was how come there's I didn't even know it was called a skirt. How come there's nothing on the apron?
Didn't have apron skirts. Well, here's the thing. In those days, each arena, because they were there every week, each arena stored its own ring. The same ring in the Louisville Gardens was used every week. Same ring in Memphis was used every week. Same ring in Evansville. And Lexington was only once a month, so Buddy Wayne or Ken would bring that on his trailer. And you had building employees putting the thing up, and it was just extra. It was extra expense, extra time. Some places had skirts, some places didn't. A lot of in Memphis, what they did was they started getting the goddamn canvas like 4 or 5 feet too big, and they just tied it down to the bottom, and the canvas was also an apron skirt. And then sometimes it barely go over the edges of the fucking ring. And you could see all the way under. You could see the fucking padding. It just it depended. This was low budget shit. They never spent any money, none of the territories, that they didn't have to.